Thank you for staying with us. Nigerians are awaiting the outcome of an investigation into the circumstances surrounding the death of a 12-year-old pupil of Chrisland School, Whitney Adeniran, who died during a sports event last week. The Lagos State government has ordered the closure of the school pending the outcome of the probe. The deceased's mother had accused Chrisland of negligence. Reacting to public criticism that has trailed the 12-year-old student's death, the school management says Whitney had reported not-too-buoyant health on January the 20th. The school dismissed insinuations that there was foul play in Whitney's death, maintaining that she slumped in public. Chrisland School has been at the center of different controversies in recent times. In 2022, 4 teachers were arraigned after a sex tape by Chrisland pupils surfaced online. In 2019, an ex-teacher of the school's branch in Victoria Garden City bagged a 60-year jail term for defiling a 2-year-old girl. Well, joining us now is lawyer and Ogun West NNPP senatorial candidate, Olufemi Aina. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Thanks for the time.
Yeah.
A really sad development, one must say, but what were your impressions of this development with the girl's passing?
Well, first of all, it's quite unfortunate. And this is every parent's nightmare. The school bus come in the morning, pick your child or children, go to school. And then the next thing you receive a call that something serious has happened. And there's something I'd like to say. I want the parents of this young lady to know one thing, that at this present time, the heart of the nation is with them. And it is my hope and prayer that this young lady rest in peace and rise in glory on Resurrection Day. But having said that, we need to, how many times are we going to talk about incidents of this nation? Sometimes last year or so, I was here about that young lady who was abused and suddenly died while boarding a bus provided by the Lagos State government. You see, incident is going to happen, but how you handle that incident is what is important. And this Chrisland school, for some reasons, there are a lot of issues. And I could see where the parents seems to be coming from, that they are negligent. You see, if you run a school, you run an institution, you run a restaurant, you owe people a duty of care. And once you breach that duty, then you'll be liable. It's as simple as ABC. Yeah. You organize an entire sport. There's nothing wrong with that. That is what happened. You will recall some years back, anytime you do entire sport, you see some of your fellow students in a Red Cross uniform to provide first aid if there's a problem.
Yes.
Now, the question is this. What was the risk analysis carried out before the entire sport event? Number one, do you have the necessary safeguarding measures in place? No, but children will always be children. There is nothing you can do about it. But what happened in this sort of situation, you can have some of the parents who wants, if they want to be a volunteer, so that they can help you keep an eye on these children. And there are quite a lot of them. Some of them are working at home. Some of them are retired. They can come forward and they will be a volunteer. The mistake from the school, because if you see their statement, the only thing they did not address is that these are the measures we put in place to avoid this sort of incident. What they are saying, they are just giving us the sequence of events, that she collapsed in public view, she has been saying she hasn't been unwell, the parents pick her up. That's not the issue. The issue is that, did you put the necessary safeguard in place? You are the organizers of the event. And I must say this is, you see, safety is not in so many people's dictionary in Nigeria. They take things lightly. And this thing, that's what will happen. And if this sort of incident happen, and we don't talk, you don't know where the next victim is going to come from. It could even be your own child. And that is why I'm very concerned that everybody is taking this laid-back attitude, showing sympathy. It goes beyond that. We need to go to the root and branch of what happened and make sure whether these schools, they all have a safety record. And do they even have a safety officers? Look, even in the United Kingdom, you will see something, and it will interest you. It is 1 teacher to 4 pupils. And if you see these children trying to board a bus early in the morning, you will see 1 teacher in the morning, you will see 1 in the middle and 1 at the back. And before they even board the bus, there will be a head count. And once they get to their destination, there will be another head count. When they come back to the school, there will be a head count. And somebody is making a record to make sure, because sometimes anything can happen in the middle. And this incident is quite unfortunate. Number one, you organized the event. You did not even make sure. Look at what the father is saying, that, look, there was a nurse, but that nurse is unqualified. That's one. Number two, did you even talk to the nearest hospital that should there be an incident, so can you help us? Then number three, have you trained any of the teachers to have a first aid certificate? That is very important. And that first aid certificate has to be renewed on a yearly basis. And what the father is saying is that, look, the lady, I think the daughter was electrocuted because she stepped on a naked wire also. You know this as I do, that in those days in the village, anytime there's a power surge, there's this small box in your house, you quickly rush there, it has on and off.
Yes.
Because anytime there's something of such nature, the first thing you do is to isolate.
Yeah.
And then you rush there, you just quickly turn it off. Yeah. Okay, if that is what happened to this lady, what were the necessary measures in place? And my major concern is that even the police, they are taking this laid-back attitude, saying at the end of the day, let us wait for the autopsy. You see, that is not the way to go. What happened to the circumstantial evidence? And I must say this for the benefit of your viewers. It is not until you take a knife and stab somebody before we charge you for murder. We can look at the circumstantial evidence. An incident happened in USA about a year or 2 ago. This was very funny. That boy and the two of them, they are lovers. And the boy is suffering from some form of depression or mental health issues. Now, this boy actually told the girlfriend that, look, I'm going to commit suicide. The lady went to work, texting the boy that, look, how far have you done it? Are you still there? The boy will now call back and say, oh, I'm getting nervous. And the lady will keep texting that, do it now, just take courage, do this. Eventually, the boy lost his life. Now, they now charge the lady for murder. There was an outcry, you see, and she was convicted. So and in Nigeria, you see, we don't take safety very serious. If I step outside here now and I have a cardiac arrest, the next thing they will do, they soak me in water. Everybody, go and bring water, go and bring water. Nobody will say, look, let's do chest compression, let's check whether there is a pulse. You see, all these basic things, they are very essential. Even I went to visit a friend last week. This is very funny. While I was coming out of the flat, he just bought a generator. I now said, he now put that generator on a tire, on a car tire. I now said, oh, was the generator bought with the tire? He now said, no, so that to avoid more. He came up with this ridiculous excuse. I now said, you see, this is the problem. Should there be a fire, that tire is going to accelerate the fire. And if care is not taken, there will be a disaster. You see, those little things which we don't take into account. If you are organizing an inter-house sport, somebody is supposed to tell you that there is going to be an incident. Well, there will be people throwing javelin. If you do the javelin and there is a high wind, instead of the javelin going the right way, it ended up landing on people. What are you going to do in such a situation?
Right.
Let's be. There will be somebody throwing shot puts. Should it go the other way? What are you going to do? You see, these are the things people should emphasize. And this Lagos State government, they have this commission, they call it Lagos State Safety Commission also. You see, sometimes you ask yourself, and in Nigeria, that is very peculiar. There are so many people, they only exist in name only. I went to this magistrate court at Ogba last year or so. This will make you laugh. You see the ceiling hanging. The magistrate even told me, I have a distinctive personality. The magistrate even told me, said, oh, mind your head. You see, then you ask yourself, the lift, you see pregnant lawyers struggling to climb the stairs. I now asked the security that, look, what happened to your lift? And she said, oh, for the past 3 years, that lift hasn't worked. Go to that court. Even the staircase, something tell you, this is a show. Who commissioned this? I just told them, I just passed the case to another lawyer because we have to be very careful. There is a television station. They used to invite me. There was a day I was there, and I told them that, look, should there be a fire here? I bet me and you, I don't think I'm going to survive this because cables everywhere. You just ask yourself, who is in control? Then somebody is going to give you a card and say it's the executive director of this. So it is quite clear that you only exist in name. And this school has been in the news for so many bad reasons. I know maybe for some reason that you go, all this knee-jerk reaction, let's close the institution. That is one way to go. But let's see it as an opportunity to ask for their safety record, ask all schools, let us have a safeguarding measures and give them a safety certificate every year because that will give you opportunity to review things. Then ask for their incident record book that, look, has there been this? Ask the teachers, where your first aid certificate? Even in a classroom where you are teaching people, something can happen suddenly. Yeah. And then what do you do? And the first 5 minutes, they are very, very crucial. True. Look, and they are in this mess now. And look, they are issuing statement. Are they even insured for that event? That's another thing. And Mike, to someone like you go around doing the MC on occasion. Look at what happened last year to that EFCC man. There was an occasion, and then he suddenly passed out. He slumped. Yes. Yeah. Now, I was away out of the country then. If you see the way that incident was handled, it was a big shame. You have the MC or whatever he called himself. And then you see all these people with their babariga. Nobody take the initiative that, look, off your babariga immediately and use it to provide a cordon so that the camera will not focus. Exactly. That's one. The second point, the MC did not even ask anybody in the hall that, oh, is there any medical doctor here or somebody with a medical knowledge to come forward? If you fly from Nigeria to London, Australia, and this, I was on a flight when a woman went into labor. The air hostesses, what they did was very funny. All of us were trying to be very nosy to know what happened. And suddenly there was an announcement. Is there any doctor on board or a nurse? Then a woman came out and said, I'm a midwife. Then there is a doctor. Then a student doctor came. Then they asked all of us, okay, move to the back. And then the woman delivered the baby successfully. There was an announcement. There was an outcry. Everybody started clapping. There was an incident a few years back whereby they even used sand hanger to carry out an operation before the plane landed. You see, when these sort of things happen, the first thing you do, ask for people who have the knowledge. And they will come out, and a lot of them, when the Bawa slump, you can see people don't even know what to do. And the next thing, they were looking for water. And that is Nigeria first aid for you. The moment any little thing happens, they just soak you in water. And then you ask yourself, do they even know what they are doing? And it's not limited to that. Please, let's take safety as a serious issue. I was telling my driver just last week that anytime there's an incident, the next thing you quickly do, go and open the bonnet. That's not the way to go. You first of all need to make sure the car is secure.
Yes.
You put your seat cushion. You yourself, you didn't even put an IV vest on, a reflective vest, so that other drivers will see you. Then you quickly go and rush and open the bonnet. That is not the first thing. Park the car safely, make sure you secure the environment, then you now look for the fault. Yeah. And he said, well, it shows some appreciation. You see, all these little things which we don't count. If we don't take it serious, you don't know who's going to be the next victim. And what the Lagos state government should do now, this has happened, is to make sure that let's seize this opportunity. It's just unfortunate that the inquest system in Nigeria doesn't work. You know, in this sort of situation, there will have been an inquest. The police are saying they are waiting for autopsy report. What are if the autopsy reports come out to be inconclusive? What are you going to do? So leave that. The autopsy will come. Because don't forget, if you charge the school will get their own expert. The two experts may not be able to agree. Leave that as a side issue. The main issue is that, were you a witness that when that incident happened? They said there was a woman selling candy, and it was that candy woman who brought a cable. Have the police interview her. Go to the school, ask for their safety record, ask for their the training record when they come. You see, what does lawyers do? Lawyers join the dots. That's okay, if we look at this, you look at this, is this probable? He is the one responsible. Look at that ugly incident that happened in Abeokuta where those couple, they were set alight, they were robbed. You see, it's very simple because now, out of sheer stupidity, you force the man to transfer money to your account. That's one. Now, we can say you are the one responsible because by the time we do the autopsy can tell you the time of death and the time of the transfer of the money. So by so doing, we are joining the dots to put the case against you. And instead of waiting for the autopsy regarding this lady, by now you will expect the police to be interviewing people who witnessed the occasion. And what the father seems to be saying is that there is a WhatsApp group where some of the students are making comments that this is what actually happened. Now you need to reach out to them, interview them. By so doing, you put the case because we don't want a reoccurrence. And it's unfortunate, inter-sport is something all of us always look forward to because it helps us to socialize with our fellow students and what have you, even if you don't participate actively, but at least there's that sense of belonging. You understand? And now it turned out to be a tragedy. It's not supposed to be. It is just because people are not doing what they are supposed to do.
All right. The parents and the school don't seem to agree on what led to what. You have said there has to be more investigation. But if someone says, or if one party said, okay, there was a heart failure on one side and the other said, no, there's an electrocution, if that is subjected to an autopsy, or medical autopsy, of course, the result will come out differently if either of the cases happen. But how central is the issue of the autopsy to this investigation?
Well, it is quite central in a way because the autopsy, at the end of the day, if you go, I have witnessed one or two occasions whereby somebody died in London, then I was called as the solicitor that, look, the autopsy is going to happen, and then all of you should sit down here and the doctors are doing what they have to do. It is quite grim, I must be sincere to you, because by the time you get home, if you are not careful, you may not even be able to sleep yourself. And the autopsy can help to determine the cause of death. But in certain situations, it depends on what happened to the body. Then sometimes they might come out to be inconclusive. But leaving that aside, you can use the autopsy report also to build a case against those who are negligent or what have you. Because sometimes you get organizations being charged for corporate manslaughter. And then if you want to charge them for corporate manslaughter, it is not even only the autopsy. Take, for instance, the Chrisland school. I'm being hypothetical here. If you get this situation, you go there, you realize that none of the teachers have a first aid certificate. That is .1. 2, there was no safety training few weeks before the inter-house sport. .2. Number 3, then you go, you ask them, what is your policy when it comes to children, an incident, a medical incident in the school? You look at the file, you realize it was last updated in 2018, and we are now in 2023.3. So by the time you join all these dots again, then you can look for how to charge, you can charge the institution under the health and safety legislation because they are under a duty to make sure they safeguard the lives of these children. And the moment you drop a child in the school, the responsibility now goes to them. And even in England, if you take your children to school early in the morning, and it is not 8 o'clock. They just tell you to stay outside the gate because the insurance will only cover them from 8 to so time. Wow. They won't let you in. They will just say, wait outside. When it is 8 o'clock, come in. Then number 3, do they even have adequate insurance in place? Look at the outcry now. That wouldn't have happened because under the law of subrogation, if you use your car to hit man, it is not an argument between me and you. By the law of subrogation, you are insured. The insurance step into your shoe. And they are the one who will be dealing with me. Because I'm also insured, I pass the old details to my insurer. Yeah. And then there will be an issue, this and that. But what we have in this incident is the parents' word against that of the school. And what is happening? Everybody is getting defensive. And the more you go, there will be a problem. Look at what happened to that Air Force young lady who passed away. That is somebody all of us are supposed to be proud of because that was a poster girl of Nigeria Air Force. Yes. But look at the circumstances. This is a lady who suffered a catastrophic injury, a fatal injury, because the car, it was some joyride. Yes. Number 1, the Air Force. I was abroad listening to the discussion here, statement being issued left and right and center. But nobody is willing to take responsibility. Number 1, life in an army barrack is different from the life you live outside. You are the people who allow people to drive their car into your barrack. It's not supposed to be. There is a place in England called Oakington. There was a time it was used by the immigration detaining people. And I was in and out of that detention center almost every week. But there's something that will interest you. Because it's a military barrack, as soon as we get there, they ask us to park your car outside. There is a bus provided that will take you inside. You just can't, you don't go in a military barrack and just be walking all around because ammunitions are being moved, heavy duty vehicles are moving here and there. Now, on one Sunday, I was there and that vehicle broke down. And it will interest you. They've demarcated this line that, okay, how many of you here on a legal visit, about 10 of us, okay, one officer will be in front, one officer will be in the back, and you will see the yellow line. You must not come out of that yellow line. And then you walk that yellow line till you get to the detention center and see your client. And when it is time to leave, all of you will leave at the same time. But in this Air Force lady, you allow people to bring their vehicle. They have one barrack by the airport there. Yes. If you go there, I must be sincere to you. It's like a cattle market in the evening. Because I was there last year just to get something from a shop. It will make you laugh. And it was during Ramadan. Then you see children running from us. The place is not well lit. And then there is no describer that even tell you where you are going. So once you drive forward, you see all these Air Force boys, some of the children walking with their girlfriend. Oh, where is the way to this? Where is the way? So you are stopping the vehicle. If there should be an incident, who will be responsible? Right. Do you understand me? Please, these things are very important. People don't take them into account. But if it turns to a disaster, this is what we are going to put. And the Lagos state government must use this as an opportunity to prevent a reoccurrence by getting into the route and provide appropriate training. Agencies of government set up must do the right thing. And I'm telling you, I don't want to get political about this. By the time I get into the Senate, we are going to create the necessary legal framework so that organization will be under a legal duty to promote life. You must not just leave cables everywhere. You must not block fire exit. Once you make those legal obligations to happen, then hopefully we will be able to avoid
what
this
lessons,
sort of incident.
This will be the final question I will have to ask because of time. What lessons should parents learn, especially when taking their children to schools? What should they look out for?
That is the point. Because you see, the issue we have is that everybody wants their children to go be in school. Number one, some of these schools, they have what they call open day. When you go to an open day, it's a good opportunity for you to ask questions. It's a good opportunity for you to look around and make sure that, okay, what are your safety records here? How many incidents do you have last year? How was it dealt with? You see, it's not about the fees alone. It's not about the result. It's about safety. Parents are supposed to be concerned. And if you go to some of these open days abroad, these are issues they will address. They will tell you, we make sure our students are this, we make sure we have a local connection with the local hospital, blah, blah, blah. And also at the same time, the school too, they need to make sure they have adequate record about the medical needs of some of these students. Number one, some of the schools, they will tell you they cannot administer drug. Even in the UK, if there's an incident, they can only give paracetamol. But there are some students who are on a serious medication, then they will have discussed with the teacher that should there be an incident, this is what you do. And then there's a connection, they know the number to call. All these things are very important. And these are lessons. And parents too must know they have a responsibility. Some parents are just leaving everything to the school. They too need to take a responsibility, and that's the way to go.
All right, we'll leave the conversation here now. Lawyer Ogun West, NNPP senatorial candidate Femi Aino, thank you for your time.
Yes,
thank you very much.
Thank you for the time.